Hi everybody, thank you for tuning into The Grit Life. Today we're going to be talking about passion and perseverance and how we can all incorporate that more into our daily lives. Nobody is absent from struggle unless you're not trying hard enough. So today we're going to talk about how you and we can adapt more grittiness into our lifestyles. Hi, my name's Jared Aja. My wife Alaona is sitting next to me, and today we're joined by another power couple, Luis and Jenn. Thank you guys for being on the show. I'm super excited. I'm a little nervous, but you know what? There ain't nothing to it but to do it. And I'm very grateful that we've had the chance to connect with each other, because that energy I feel is like very on the same level. And it's building. And here we are together making some content, talking about it.
Absolutely. We came up with this idea, guys, to really help the people of the community that's basically tuning in today, to have more stories to share and more kind of like more actually motivation to just go on and continue doing these things, which is kind of like going through challenges and adversity. And as a couple here that we are with Alaona and Jared and my wife Jenn, is because we want to make sure that we put it in a video so you guys can see it and find this resourceful, and useful.
I find it so funny. It's just like everybody, anytime I mention this concept of grit, and it's like, well, what is grit? It's like passion, perseverance. And just to be upfront, there's this lady, I got turned on to the concept of grit through a lady named Angela Duckworth. And she wrote this book called Grit. And when I heard about it, it just struck a chord within myself, because it's like, my whole life I've been passionate about certain things, and we can talk about what those passions are later, but I can relate to the concept of passion. And then I can relate to the concept of perseverance, because I can look back in our lives as a couple, in my life as a man, there's been lots of like struggle and like learning opportunities. And I'm at a point now at 33 years old where I can reflect and be like, wow, if I didn't go through those struggles or perseverance, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I'm very happy with the person I am today because of like, I've been humbled. Right? It's like I'm truly grateful for the few things that I have, and I'm grateful for the few things that I've lost, because again, it puts me in this position now to see the world in a place that's like full of opportunity, and like it's coming from with me. If I want it to happen, it's up to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I find that very just a good place to be in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then actually, I was reading this book. If you don't win, what's it called? It's from John Maxwell.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Sometimes you learn. And it was talking specifically of that, like everybody's gonna have adversity and setbacks and challenging times, but the point is that we have to stop and meditate about those setbacks and bad experiences to make sure that we're learning.
Most people want to avoid their mistakes. Like, I messed up, I'm never going to talk about it again. Yeah. Like that's such a waste, because it's all about learning and like failing forward, right? It's like we don't come out of the womb just like ready people. Yeah. Like, no, we have to build emotional stability and mental stability and, acquire data points about the world that we live in so we can make strategic decisions on like how we're going to live our lives and what type of people we want to be. There's the concept of just like people who are given things, they're usually like spoiled or bratty and inconsiderate of others. And, and then the flip side, people who go through struggle, they're really usually humbled and they think about others because they know what it's like to be without. Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the best things about me and Alaona is we've been through so much struggle together. It's like everybody we meet at this point, our natural prerogative is like, how can we help you? Because it's like we already know life can be very tough. And sometimes you just need either an encouraging word from somebody or some support, it's like someone to believe in you, or some resources. Like, hey, I know you got a business. Let me make you a video just to help you become a little stronger, right? Yeah. And that's a similar story to what happened to us and why we're even here today. Yeah. I mean, like we've talked for, maybe a year now about doing things, and I came to a point to where it's like, I know it's more important for me to keep supporting others, because that's the type of karma that I want to come back to me. And so I hit you up on Facebook. I was like, Luis, you need a video. Let's just meet, dude. I said, I don't want nothing from you. I just want to make you a video.
Exactly.
And we did it, and it turned out great. I had you in slow motion, super smooth and stuff. I was like, damn.
Super rico suave
That's
type
right.
of style.
And that's amazing. And I know other people thought that as well. So I think my point is just, again, the more struggle you go through, the more you empathize with others, because it's like almost pure luck that we have made it out of the struggles we made it out of. And again, we have not struggled more than anyone else. It's like everyone has struggles.
Yeah.
But the fact that we are like at a better place now is just like miraculous.
Yeah.
Like it really is, especially when you truly understand how the world works. It's like some people just get dealt a shit stick for their whole life, And I think a lot of it has to do with mentality and all that.
Yeah.
But some people are in just like less fortunate
Bad situations.
And I'm very fortunate that we're in the position we're in. So I just want to continue that. And so that led me to grit,
And guys, I have to say that we started this out of we've been planning to do something like this for over a year, a while. And everything was just okay, we'll do it someday, and someday doesn't exist, or someday doesn't happen. So we kind of took action, and here we are, and I think it's coming along.
What do we got, man? We got 5 cameras here. I see you.
Exactly. It's amazing.
I was going to say, I think that the conversation that we had, a few weeks ago, the transparency was we knew you guys, but we didn't really know you. And when we learned about your story, it was just oh my goodness, like you said, everyone struggles in their own way.
100%.
But I love how transparent and open you guys were with it, because we were able to relate, and I'm sure everyone else can, on some level. And I think that's where a lot of people, like you were saying, they fail to talk about their failures.
Yeah.
But when you really open up about them, the amount of doors that it can open for someone else, it's magical.
Have you felt it? So it's I feel walking away, we went out the other night, right? And we sat by a bonfire and we had a great conversation.
Exactly.
We walked away from that conversation feeling empowered.
Yep.
I was going to say
Even
the same
though
thing.
I had told you some of my failures and the areas that we struggle, but I walked away not feeling ashamed. I felt empowered because why? We moved past those struggles. We found ourselves, I remember it was we're not that old, right? And we're all trying to learn. But I remember when we were in our young 20s and I was getting in all types of trouble, not making good decisions. And we were broke and just struggling. We were asking everybody we knew for $100 and to help pay a bill. It was disgusting. It was terrible. But then we came to a point and we it's there's the one word for the year, right? Or one phrase that you model your year after at the beginning of the new year. Ours was just making good decisions. I don't want to make a business. We just have to start making good decisions. Because I found we had led to a point to where, based off of a bunch of bad decisions, we ended up at a place. And I know we went through a whole year of just making good decisions. Yeah. And it was a transformation of our life. And then the next year, it was we wanted connection and security. And then, boom, some things happened and we started meeting people and boom, we got a little security. And now it's every year we just keep setting new goals, and everything that we set in stone of we put our mind to, we always end up achieving it. And it's not because we're special. I'm just trying and I'm focusing on it. And I think that is the biggest lesson out of all this is just you have to try. And don't give up. Consistency really is the key. And that right there is grit, the perseverance, not failing. I find that so inspirational, man. I want to put on one of the movies. It's Braveheart. I will never surrender.
And specifically, one point here is that you talked about perseverance and you talk about consistency, but when it comes down to failing, it's not easy to share those stories.
Totally.
To someone. I remember where I was going through failures in my life, it was just hard to talk to someone on what you're going through.
Yeah.
Because you feel so embarrassed.
Judged.
But one of the things that I learned from like this guy called his name is Les Brown.
Oh, I love Les Brown.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's like, make sure that you are good on telling stories.
Yes.
Because if you can tell your setbacks and challenging and all that as a good story and a good comeback, oh man, it can
change a lot of lives.
It can change a lot of lives.
My life was changed from Les Brown. I mean, again, like, what you put in is what comes out. And again, you have to come to a point to where I'm not going to allow anything in my mind that isn't positive or building me up or getting me closer to my goals, because there's so much information out there in this world. It's way too easy to scroll TikTok for 2 hours, Instagram for 2 hours.
Waste your time.
Yeah, and like, you didn't listen to no podcast, you didn't read no book, you didn't work on yourself at all, but you wasted a whole day.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm so upset that I don't have money to go on a vacation or a car. So it's very real.
Yeah, one of the things that I put myself when I was going through a lot of challenges, and I didn't have pretty much no type of, literally no money to invest on something that I could make more money. One of the things I really applied myself was to reading or to listening to audio books, because at least one book can literally change your attitude, or can change or help you improve yourself. So you make it an habit. Having like at least one book per week or one book per month can literally change your perspective. And even though you're going through a lot of setbacks or challenges, with one book a week or one book a month, it can literally change your habits and behavior for getting you to start
for the rest of your life.
Wins.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I'm a living example of. I know a lot of people are just living examples of that. Shoot, man, I got the Audible. I get one book a month.
Yeah.
And
credit.
I went through all of Grant Cardone's Sell or Be Sold,
Yeah.
10X, all that stuff. I go through a lot of other books, and it's truly been transformational.
Yeah.
So, the whole concept of grit, the first one is passion, right? And I was listening to the book all week, right? And I was listening to it. I went to pick up my little brother from Houston, and so I was listening to it with him in the car, and he's younger than me. And so when you talk about passion, there was 4 stages that Angela Duckworth talked about or laid out with passion. And I don't remember all of them, but the first one was just interest, right? You have to have some type of interest. And then you have to have something, and then you have to have something else, and then you have to have hope that it happens. But the sense of passion, I know for myself, I have a video, marketing company, and I'm just Mr. Video, right? But video itself, making videos, isn't necessarily just like my passion. Like, my passion in life is just to be successful at the things that I do. At whatever level, whatever I attempt to do, I want to be successful. I want to do things with a higher standard than everyone else. And so to me, that's what I'm passionate about, even as we show up today. It's like, we didn't show up with one camera and a shared microphone. We showed up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, bam, 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 bam. But
if we're going to do things right, we're going to do things right.
Exactly. And that's the standard that I want to live my life by. And I think other people who have that as standard will be attracted to that.
Yeah.
And so that's something. Have you ever heard of a guy named Joe Dispenza?
No, you just sent me a video.
Oh my gosh.
See the
Dude,
video.
So it's like, he has a saying, it's like, we would put that out into the quantum realm, and we would attract that. And so that's for all you Joe Dispenza.
That's good. That's good. The good points.
What else about passion? Let's talk about passion for a second. I mean, either what you're passionate about or just the concept of passion. How do you find a passion?
Yeah.
Like, what are you passionate about, honestly?
Obviously, like, for me, like, guys, when I started my career as far as a sales professional or entrepreneur, sales professional, how you want to call it, because we're all either buying or selling,
right.
or sell or be sold, like Grant Cardone,
That's right.
right?
If you ain't selling, you're not sold.
Exactly. So, at the end of the day, that passion comes out of belief. Yeah. Okay, and that belief comes out of like love. You have to make sure that you're loving something so much that you're able to fire comes out of you and say, like, I have this
burning desire
to do this, right? So, but that, I mean, takes some time. I mean, if you asked me probably like 15 years ago, what did I wanted to do when I was older? I was like, well, I don't know. I can be an artist, or I can be I don't know, like a
What did you want to be as a kid?
yeah, what do I want to
be honest,
right? But as I start doing things, anything that I put myself to, it was like always the sales side came out. I was like, I'm not good at sales. And then all I can dig, it was sales.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Why should I just continue fighting against it, and just get it to start getting a good
interest in it, and then off of interest, you start to develop a passion,
and that started happening. And then once that passion was there, you just have to continue feeding it.
Yes,
you have to feed it, feed the wolf, the hungry wolf.
What about you, Jen? What are you passionate about?
Funny you say that, because my whole life I've just wanted to help people, right? So that's why I've been in education for 12 plus years. And I knew as a teacher, and God bless all you teachers, but I knew, even moms, but as a teacher, I knew that I wanted to do more with my life. And I think that I struggled for years living paycheck to paycheck, and I know a lot of people can relate to that. I knew that I wanted to do more. So yeah, I just decided that I was going to keep pushing, like finding what my passion was, because I didn't know what my passion was
Exactly.
at first.
No, totally.
Not everyone knows, right out the gate. And so I just kept doing little things here and there. And finally, I actually found a note from 10 years ago that I wrote to myself, and it was how to become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And literally everything that I wrote down on that paper 10 years ago, I'm doing today.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so, because I didn't know what I wanted to do back then, but I wrote down help people within health and wellness.
Okay.
And I mean, and I
here you are living within that existence.
I know. So I think that one thing that I would say for people who don't know what their passion is just keep trying to find things that interest you. Because,
experiment.
Yeah, you have to experiment, because if you don't, then you're never going to know. And I can't tell you how many times I failed.
Yeah.
The tears, the angry, like the madness, but through those pains and trials and setbacks, I found exactly what I wanted to do, and I'm doing it. So
Alaona, same story as just trying, experimenting. Why don't you talk about some of your...
Well, first off, I'm passionate about being a mom and taking care of my family above all things, but then also being authentic and true to who I am. And even down to the very, very, very minute things, well, that seem minute. Like, I don't like to work for anyone else. A 9 to 5 is not for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm cool with working as hard as I can to be true to myself and get myself to a place where I want to be, whether that's being a mask maker, making a children's clothing line, doing social media marketing, whatever I can do, I do it. And those are the things, by doing entrepreneurship for myself, I'm able to spend time with my kids. So therefore, I'm getting both of those passions taken care of at the same time.
It's amazing.
It's all about encouraging other people who feel that there's no way out, or that they're kind of stuck and defined to the parameters of a box that you've placed yourself into. But that's totally not the case. If you can see outside the box, you can achieve whatever's outside.
Yeah, because other people are doing it. And again, so like I was talking with this one person, and he was like, Jared, you just seem so confident in what you like, in videos, right?
They're killing it.
And so I was trying to explain to him, it was like, I can think back a few years ago, I'm still not the best videographer out there, right? And I can think back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and I was complete garbage. But over years of trying, and I've done video shoots and they've completely failed. Like, what I made was garbage and we should not put out. And those were giant, like, reflection points for me to be like, you know what, are you truly gonna be that badass that you are thinking that you are, that I want to aspire to be? And if you are, you gotta look at these failures and examine them and be completely transparent. Like, where did you fuck up? Did I not care enough? Was I just not skilled enough? Did I not have the right equipment? What was the problems? And over a series of learning opportunities, right, failures, I started getting little wins. And I think confidence is a collection of experiences. And the more experiences you have in sales and getting the door, rejection and the no's, the stronger you'll be, and then you'll like fall into some type of strength and skill set that is like, you filtered out all the bullshit and the weak ways of doing things. You've tapped into some of the ways that things are supposed to happen, and now you start mastering those. And I know for me, and just with my own video skills, it's like I worked on my lighting, I worked on my composition, not all at the same time, like individual. And now, you know, as a grown-up, I have a collection of experiences that give me confidence.
Exactly.
Walk into any room, ain't no one gonna scare me talking video talk.
Because
like
you're
we can
a
go
master.
because I've mastered. I put in, you know, the 10,000 plus hours.
Yeah.
So I think for each individual, no matter what you're doing, if you could just continue to show up and persevere towards finding your passion, you will be in the best place possible.
Yeah, and I think the passion, and then having to take massive action.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like one of the things like what you're saying right now, you were like, okay, I'm gonna do video, and I'm gonna put myself in a position where I can win as a videographer or as an entrepreneur, and do the best professional videos, which is you are, man. But I think that nothing would happen if you were just thinking about it. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to be the best videographer and not do anything about it.
Yeah.
Not take any steps.
I went out there. No, again, like, I did free videos for people. Mm-hmm. I did very cheap videos for people. But it wasn't for them. Like, I put myself in that opportunity to learn. Mm-hmm. I just so happened to get paid to learn.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another, like, where can you go to get paid to learn?
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, you can.
Yeah.
As a startup,
yeah.
you know, in sales and anything else.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I'm very happy that we're here talking about this concept, because I have always, me and Alaona have always been like anti the box, you know, like structure. I'm anti that. Like, don't put me in some box that somebody else predetermined. Like, I am so much bigger than any box anyone can put me in. Yeah. Me putting myself in a videographer box, I'm very conflicted with, because I'm so much more than that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find a way to encapsulate that and then present that to the world.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of like passionate about right now.
Yeah. And like when you talk about the box or the standards, it's like, I mean, actually, I guess the majority of us was brought up to like, you have to go to work, you have to basically be in a 9-to-5 job, go to college, have an education, and then basically scale on the ladder, and then once they fire you, then wow, your whole career is over, right? And now in days that with this situation with the pandemic and all that, now we're starting to see our true colors. Like the people that were like thinking that we're gonna be relying on one source of income or one way to just do things in
one hustle.
Hustle. They're starting to know, like, dude, that place that I was with and it's not longer giving me what I want. It's falling apart.
The world has changed.
That's where I had to just dedicate myself to my passions. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, my passions were the ones that are going to be paying off. And that's pretty much now, I put it this way, we are learning it the hard way.
Yes. Everyone's getting faced with that reality. You know, I have a question for Alaona. It's just like, over the years, I've always been inspired by Alaona because she's always starting businesses. Like when the pandemic first hit in March, she was like, I know how to make masks. She started making masks. She sold over 700 masks in a few months at $15 a mask, bro. No website, only Facebook. And she logo, brand, photos, online store, all that.
Alaona, that's
she just
amazing.
picked it up.
Amazing.
And then she made some money. And then there came a point to where it didn't like suit her anymore. Yeah. And she dropped it. Cutoff game is strong with Alaona. No, seriously, it's because I feel like she's in tune with like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then when it's not, she's okay to just like cut it off and then to go have a new experience. She went from a clothing brand to the social media. She had a social media marketing agency on the side of me having my video marketing business. She had 12 full-time clients, not just running their social media, but creating original content for them. 12 of them. Wow. She was crazy busy. And then there came a time to where it didn't suit her, and she cut that off. She literally was right. I'm not going to accept your money no more. Calling it a thing. We did our contract. Thank you. All that. And we've had conversations a little bit conflicted because we're both learning and growing and naive. Yeah. But it's like, is that okay? She saw success in a little way with something, but it didn't like fill the full void.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
what
so
you talk
my
about?
answer to that is that every one of those entrepreneurial ventures that I have been on have been stepping stones and growing opportunities for me.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm learning skill sets that help me be the best person that I can be in the future.
Yeah.
Like way off in the future, everything that I learn now is going to help that person be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And I just need it all. Yeah. And that's okay if it resonates with me for a moment and then it passes on. But I always find that later on in the future, it comes back to me. Mm-hmm. They're all still there. Mm-hmm. I just might have 10 businesses one day, all running at one time. So
yeah, but one thing that you mentioned that correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the passion for your kids.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So as far as like your businesses are not your life. It's pretty much your passion for your kids and their well-being. Exactly. So you do whatever it takes to just basically take care of them. So if it's that business is like not fulfilling for you, it's okay to cut it because you're able to like do another thing and then just basically take care of what means the most for you, right?
Exactly. And it takes a lot of mental stability to just like be an entrepreneur and be okay and accepting failing forward. Mm-hmm. Like none of this is failure. Yeah. None of my ventures have failed. I'm just moving forward and with stronger skill sets to do something even better in the future.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us I know a lot of people can relate to how you're really good at just cutting things off. I can definitely relate to that because I've done that in so many different aspects of my life. And sometimes my family's like, can't you just pick one thing?
You inconsistent person.
Yeah. But at the same time, I had a social media agency, and guess what? It came back. Like during certain times of my life, I'm able to use that. Or my photography. I'm a yoga teacher. Like certain things are I can just bring it back.
You're always gonna be making money now. Like how you want it.
People are like, don't you just want to stay with one thing? I'm like, no, because that's not going to. I want to retire by the time I'm 40.
Yeah.
People think I'm crazy. But
well, you're not going to do that with one hustle.
Exactly. Yeah. I know.
Unless you invest a lot into Bitcoin.
Right? Exactly. I should not get out of Bitcoin. Oh.
Next episode.
Yeah. I've always been passionate about not being put in a box. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, like people will look at you, don't you just want to settle down with one thing? And that irritates me so much because maybe for some people that's okay, but you must not know who I am and the journey that I'm on. Like, I don't want to just live an average life. Exactly. And that's like my level of standard that I'm setting for myself. And so I'm experimenting with what is going to get me to where I want to be. Like I was saying, I'm not just passionate about making videos or building a business. I'm passionate about being successful at the things that I put my time and effort into. Exactly. So whatever that is going to be, that's why even with the clients that I'm taking on, if they're not the right client that's going to help me get to where I want to be, which is like some perceived place, then, we're not going to work together because I've wasted too much time trying to live somebody else's model. And I know that the world that we live in is so abundant and so big that there's unlimited variations for success. Yeah. So again, this is the encouragement to anybody is like experiment often, fail a lot, and really take time to reflect on those failures and to see, taking personal responsibility and just being like, was that my fault? Could I have showed up harder?
The learnings.
What did I learn today from this?
What did I learn from that? And I think if we can all just maintain that type of vibe, the world would be a better place.
Yeah, exactly.
World peace.
Exactly. And I mean, just to basically make it to a point, making sure that we're continuously learning from not only our experiences, but not stop developing ourselves throughout our lives.
Yeah.
A lot of people just basically, especially when you go into the passion side of things, to go into your like entrepreneurial spirit life, which is like doing the things you like to do. Sometimes when you're just on the 9 to 5, you go home, and it happened to me, guys. Like years ago, I used to go to my job, finish my job, and go and play video games, or just basically watch TV,
Netflix,
go to bed,
and chill.
repeat it, rinse and repeat. And that's just basically a killer of your time when you can dedicate that time towards something that you're passionate about, that later on can turn into so much things like we are now experimenting. Like I tell you, like if I were continue with those habits of just
You wouldn't
going
be
to
where
the 9
you
to
were at
5
today.
and going to watch TV at night and rinse and repeat, honestly, like I will not be sitting here and talking to you guys. I'll be probably like another completely different
Finishing a series on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm super excited. Thank you guys for sitting down and talking with us. I think this is going to definitely be something we do again.
Yeah, thank you.
As we go forward, I look forward to talking about how to find your passion. What are some of the characteristics of, you know, how to find that passion? And then also more stories and lessons about perseverance, about not giving up. Some of the reasons why perseverance is so important. And there's tons of studies, tons of information out there. I'm definitely going to be doing some research, pulling from some of those outside sources and bringing it to people. So if anyone is wanting to live a grittier lifestyle with more passion and more perseverance, not giving up, definitely stay tuned to this podcast, because everything we're going to do here is to just have that conversation and give you guys tools and ideas on how to live gritty lifestyles. So,
yes, sir.
Gritty gang.
Yeah.
Gritty life. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you. Bye.